give you some information about our card. There are still some tickets available. If you're in the New York area, you can go to the box office here at Madison Square Garden, any Ticketmaster outlet, Ticketmaster.com, or charge by phone. There are still some select tickets available, not very much. So before today's over, head on over or get online and buy some tickets. The event is going down tomorrow, as I mentioned, St. Patrick's Day here for Madison Square Garden. The telecast will begin at 8 p.m. local time on ESPN Deportes, and streaming live on the ESPN app. We will be featuring some of the great undercard talent, some that you'll see up here on the stage that we'll be talking to momentarily. Their fights will be streaming live at 5:30 local time, so you can log on to the ESPN app, watch some of the talent on the undercard if you're stuck in traffic or you're not in the area, and then tune on over to the main ESPN channel or ESPN Deportes at 8 p.m. local time. The features that will be on the ESPN broadcast will open up with Alexander Gvozdyk taking on his opponent Mehdi Amar. They will be fighting for the interim WBC light heavyweight title fight. That fight is also a title eliminator, so a lot on the line there. And then in our main event, USA Olympian Jose Ramirez will be taking on Amir Imam. That is going to be a fantastic fight for the WBC super lightweight title. And then a special attraction for you will feature Michael McConlin back here for his return at Madison Square Garden a year today, pretty much since his pro debut on St. Patrick's Day. So we got a lot of great fighters for you on the undercard and on the main event. But first, before we get started talking to the fighters, there's a couple familiar, very, very familiar faces up here at the center of the stage. One holding some flags and the other in Mr. Bob Arum. Bob, I'm gonna come to you first for some opening comments just on our card in general, and then we'll get to promoting another event here with Don King. So Bob, I know you're excited about being back here for a spectacular St. Patrick's Day weekend.
Thank you, Christina. And I want all of you to look up on this stage, see all of these fighters. And the thing that should really stick out the most is they come from all over the world, all kinds of ethnic backgrounds. 3 young men from Puerto Rico all suffered greatly during the storm and hurricane that wrapped the island of Puerto Rico. They're here. They're going to show the great fighters they are, and I welcome them to New York, into this card. We have a light heavyweight fight matching the pride of Kharkov, Ukraine, Alexander Gvozdyk, and a young man representing France from the great city of Marseille. A terrific super lightweight championship between Amir Aman and the Central Valley of California's own Jose Ramirez. And of course, why we're here today, really, on celebrating St. Patrick's Day on Saturday night, the pride of Ireland, Mick Conlon. This is a tremendous card, and it should be a lot of fun. Now you see, Don King, who's sitting on my left, has a big picture of the man who unfortunately is President of the United States. I'm here with I'm here with a red cap that says pro-immigrant and proud. And I really dedicate
all right.
to the dreamers, particularly, who deserve a pathway to citizenship because they are contributing greatly to this country, and to the immigrants who came here illegally, who worked their whole lives in the fields, picking the produce that fed people in the United States and around the world. We have to find a way to give these people the pathway to citizenship as well. We are all immigrants, and America's strength is from the immigrant community, and we have to find a way to integrate all of these people into what is a great country, the United States of America. I'm not going to preach it.
All right.
And Dawn, it's good to see you back. I believe the last time I saw you and Bob sitting side by side was for Total Mayorga, one of the first fights that I had the privilege to cover. So welcome back, Dawn, and you're here with your fighter, Amir Imam. So we'll get to talking about your fighter in just a moment, but if you just want to give a brief comment about promoting again, once again, with the man to your right, in Bob Arum, this spectacular event at Madison Square Garden.
Why did you use the word brief? Dawn,
Yeah.
can't be brief.
It's hopeful speaking. You know how it goes.
Only in America. You must understand. First, I want to give thanks to my back home would be, why would I say that? My family, Jim Dolan and Charles Dolan. Charles is going to fly in here, and because I'm here, and so we're going to celebrate the Madison Square Garden. It is the Mecca of boxing, and it's a fantastic thing to be here and to be at war with Mr. Arum here. Some of the things he said has some vitality to it. That the whole country is a country of immigrants. And so, but he's got all the fighters here, Viva Puerto Rico. You know, when that Puerto Rico, mi casa, su casa. So we want to take care of all of the fighters from Puerto Rico. But I got two fighters that are coming in one from Ghana, and I'm going to introduce it to you after we get to work with the fighters. His name is Mensa, you know what I mean? And he is going to be fighting for the world title against a Golden Boys fighter, the explosive Puerto Rican, you know, and so Machado. And so that's going to be a world title fight. And then we have Expo. Expo is Isaac Expo from Nigeria. You know what I mean? And that right there, Isaac Expo from Nigeria. And I'm sending word to the president, you know what I mean, that everything is going to be good, and we're going to have a great fight with him next week in Germany. You know what I mean? So we're here at Madison Square Garden, which is the center of the world. It ain't just New York, you have to name it twice, but it's a center of the world. And I'm just delighted to be here with my fighter, Iman, that's going to take, and I feel so sorry about the Puerto Rico, Jose is Mexicano. Yeah, Jose, you know, so we want to be able to say we will give another chance, you know what I mean? So later on down the road. But we're going to have a great, great fight here, and we want everybody to come and see it because we really is declaring war on Bob Arum and Top Rank, you know what I mean, who wouldn't feed us, you know what I mean? He's talking about all these wonderful things of the dreamers. I'm a dreamer, but you know, we can't get fed, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? He gave us half the money for all the people, you know what I mean? But that ain't Bob. I have to say this. Our crews have an acrimony that's seemingly is challenging, you know what I mean, because they can't understand what it is. But little things, like you say, Jose versus Iman. Iman is the #1 manager at Challenger. But she's little things. She knows little Bob is very ingenious. Now, even though it's just a Billy, you know what I mean, we're going to say it because I've talked to the Lord. The Lord says the last will be first, and the first will be last. You know what I mean? So we said, okay, that's on the Billy. You got Jose Ramirez, you know, on top of the guy who gave him an opportunity. But those are the nuances that he uses that you can't get around. You got to always be ahead, otherwise you're going to be dead. So you got to understand you're just going to be able to deal with it and make it happen. So we're going to have a great, great fight here at Madison Square Garden, and it should be a sellout. So I want everybody to come. I'm going to sing Turalura, an Irish lullaby. I got the island flag here somewhere. No, that's Mexicano.
There's that one too.
Yeah, WBC. Where's Ireland? There, it's Ireland. There we go. Here we go. For all of the Irish fans, good, you know, this is what it is about, you know. Oh, Danny boy, you know. We're going to make things happen in Ireland like they've never happened before. You know what I mean? When we're going to demonstrate what the St. Patty's Day means, you know what I mean? And so I'm happy to be a part of a great, you know, a great camaraderie, a great situation where all of us are together. But I want everyone to know that we coming here, and the rest I ain't gonna bother the rest of Arum's card. I'm gonna just stick with the championship fight that we come, which will declare the war that we're gonna do it. And this is what I would think that other countries were gonna do. Put on some gloves. Don't be killing people. Conversation rather than devastation. You know what I mean? So I want to be able to deal with that, and then at least you can have a return match. You can't have a return match when you use the bomb, the bullet, and the knife, and all of those type of things, artillery. been here. So I want to be able to say that we're going to set, Arum and I are going to set peace talks, you know what I mean, after we knock him out. We're going to set peace talks to try to make things happen, you know, that would be good for everyone. And they can take and imitate and emulate us, then they can be able to deal with the rest of the world with this. So we're going to be fighting everybody and anybody that wants to stop people from being people, and we're going to be our brother's keeper, as the good Lord says. So I'm very happy to be back home at Madison Square Garden. I can hardly wait to see Charles Dolan when he comes in. But it's going to be an exciting adventure. And before I close, I'm going to close with the bravado of the youth of Parkland High School, the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, who are speaking out against the politicians that are not doing the job that we sent them there to do, as George Washington would say, that they are our servants, and when they vote against what the people's interest is, or contrary to what their best interest is, then you should recall them. And that's what these young kids are doing. They're speaking out, challenging these dying the mass politicians who marry the government, you know what I mean? It's not like you know, you're gonna get elected. Donald Trump is calling for terms, you know what I mean? And at least closing off, when you see this man that Arum don't like, you know, he's the best thing to happen to America since the colonies struck out against King George. You know what I mean? Because now he's bringing it all out, all the hidden idiosyncrasies, all the hidden racist things, all the hidden corruption. He's bringing it out for us to discuss, review, debate, and to change. And so it's going to be on us, governed by the consent of the governed. The greatest nation in the world, America. Now we were transformed, sweetheart, we're going to do this here because we're in this house. This is the Mecca, and we're going to bring our prayers and our thoughts and everything to the Mecca so that you can be able to deal with it. And that's what the hand of God. You see, we have the hand of God is right there. You know what I mean? So you got to understand it. Okay.
Where's the young man from Ghana? Where's the young man from Nigeria?
Ready.
All right. I want to welcome you here. Are your countries shithole countries? No. No, of course not. Thank you.
Leave it. Leave it to Bob. Listen, you know, he's not, that's the system. That's what you got to understand.
Thank you very much.
They use that system in order to divide and dissension. You know what I mean? But you're too smart for that. Your job is to knock out, Expo is to knock out Sway. Your job, Mensa, is to knock out Machado.
All right, let's knock out the rest of this
Don't get caught up in this systematic changing your point of view and what you're out to get. That's what you got an example of it. I tell you, the man's a genius. You know what I mean? You got an example of what it is now to try to divide and conquer. But we're not going to let that happen to us. We're not going to let that happen to us. Ghana, we're going to be right there with Mamadou, our president, and with Nigeria, right there with him. We're going to make certain that everybody knows, and they know what time it is. And they say, how long? Not long. All right, how long? Not long. All right, roll with it then.
All right, Christina.
Thank you, thank you. Let's get to talking to some of the fighters. That's the reason we're all here, and I know that they're anxious to say their comments. And I'm going to start with our undercard talent. As Don and Bob both mentioned, we have some spectacular talent here from Puerto Rico. I'll start with the fighter to my right, Jose Pedraza. He will be fighting in an 8-round lightweight bout, his first under the Top Rank promotional banner. So let me welcome you, Jose. And how excited are you now to fight for Top Rank and to get the opportunity to fight your first fight with Top Rank at Madison Square Garden? Gardy's going to translate here for us.
Te da la bienvenida a Top Rank y te dice cómo emocionado estás de hacer tu debut con Top Rank.
Saludos a todos. Mira, me siento bien contento de estar aquí presente, de entrar a la familia de Top Rank. Así que una firma que habíamos esperado desde hace mucho tiempo. Muchas cosas vendrán, muchas cosas buenas vendrán.
I feel very happy of the signing that we made with Top Rank. That's something that we were waiting for a long time, and I know good things are going to come from this signing.
Speaking of a long time, we've been waiting to see you back in action for a long time. 13 months was your layoff before this fight, and you're moving up to a new weight division at lightweight 135. So, what should the fans expect from you in what you've kind of learned in this time off and now fighting at a weight division at 135?
Luego de 13 meses fuera del ring, vas a debutar en una nueva división. ¿Qué pueden esperar los fans de ti este sábado?
Mira, pueden esperar al viejo Pedraza, al que le gusta hacer el arte del boxeo, que es darle que no te den, los movimientos laterales que siempre me caracterizan, ¿no? Simplemente eso y mucho enfoque, definitivamente.
The fans can expect the Pedraza from all, the ones that like to practice the art of boxing and just hit and not get hit. They can expect lateral movements, and that's basically it, the Pedraza from all.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. All right, move to another Puerto Rican on the other end of the stage, Christopher Pitufo Diaz. Pitufo, Madison Square Garden has been quite kind to you. You seem to put on a show every time that you fight here, as you did the last time, third round knockout against Pee Wee. So how excited are you to be back in the Mecca of boxing and fighting along two fellow Puerto Ricans here with Pedraza and Verdejo?
I'm so excited. I just want to thank God. I want to thank Arum for believing me. Here I am. Make it work again. Make a great fight for the fans. I worked for these so hard. I just want to wait for the world title fight. I can't wait for that. I just want to be champion, take care of my family, and you know that when I come to fight, I will steal the show, and here it comes. I want to steal the show.
And you've made the move to training here in the New York, New Jersey area, and obviously it's done, you know, great things for you in your sparring. So just kind of tell everybody about training camp and your preparation for this fight and how good work you've put in anticipation.
We got a great training camp with Chino, Nick Rosario. We do a lot of things to learn and get better and better. I think we are close for the title fight, and we gotta keep learning. And for when the fighter comes, we're ready.
Bob, I was talking with Christopher Diaz at the workout yesterday, and he said he was watching that Andy Vences Eric De Leon fight very closely. He said maybe he would like to fight one of those two guys in the future. That could surely be an entertaining fight, as that fight was this past weekend.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's good about a draw. Two guys are ready to fight again. And absolutely, Christopher, you against either of those guys is a hell of a fight. And it brings back the Mexican Puerto Rican rivalry.
Right? But first things first,
Yeah,
Saturday night.
It's a great fight for me, both of them. I just want to fight for the best, to be the best, and here I am. I want to be the best of 130, and I'm going to make it.
All right, thank you. Good luck tomorrow. The last of the Puerto Rican trio up here, Felix Verdejo. So good to have you back. I think everybody missed seeing you around. I know you missed it too. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, but just your sentiments and being able to finally be back in the boxing ring and getting ready to fight again tomorrow night.
¿Cómo te sientes de finalmente volver al ring y pelear otra vez aquí en carne?
Bien contento, primero que nada, darle las gracias a Dios por darme la oportunidad de estar aquí nuevamente y a Torra por darme la oportunidad y nada, vamos a demostrar las destrezas que sabemos hacer encima del ring y esperemos salir con la victoria el 17 de marzo.
I'm very happy, thankful for the opportunity, thankful for Top Rank for giving me the opportunity. I'm just here to show my skills and come out with a victory on Saturday.
Other than your hair growing out a little bit, I've heard that you've kind of had the chance to grow and mature a little bit in these last 13 months, you know, since the accident and the injury and sparring. So with that being said, is there kind of a different mindset or, you know, something different that the fans should expect this time around, you know, to get you back to where you were, which was so close to a world title shot?
Luego de este tiempo fuera, tuviste un tiempo para analizar tu carrera y crecer. ¿Qué pueden esperar los fans de ti, ya que estuviste tan cerca de pelear por un título mundial?
Pues esperen un Félix más maduro encima del cuadrilátero, vengo bien preparado, con la fuerza que nunca había tenido, a retomar mi carrera nuevamente y demostrarle que estamos hechos los puertorriqueños.
I'm gonna come back more mature. I'm coming back stronger than ever, and I'm gonna show what Puerto Ricans are made of.
All right. So there'll be Puerto Ricans, Irish, there'll be a ton of fans in the house. You can check out all 3 of their fights on the ESPN app, as I mentioned, starting at 5:30 tomorrow. So make sure you tune in and catch them in action. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of fans here to support you guys as well. So thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Now we're gonna get to the other guy. I think you sold probably like 5 or 10 tickets, maybe. Irish Michael Conlon. There'll be a lot of Irish. Obviously, we've talked about St. Patrick's Day and coming back here. So I'd like to welcome you to the stage in our special attraction. He will be fighting on ESPN tomorrow night. So, excuse me, I keep saying tomorrow like today's the weigh-ins. I know you guys wish it was. I know tomorrow's the weigh-in, Saturday night. Thank you, Carl. I'm anxious, just like you guys are, I'm sure. And speaking of anxious, I mean, this is where it all began. That night, obviously you've grown leaps and bounds in the year at being a professional, but what does it mean to you to be back here fighting on St. Patrick's Day weekend once again?
You know, it means a lot to me to be back. Every time I come to New York, I'm made feel at home by everybody here, everybody at the Garden. Every time I walk down the street, I see someone I know. So, you know, it does feel like I'm in Ireland when I am here. But it's almost 1 year to the day, and I'm excited. I'm ready to show a more mature and improved Michael Conlon.
You look sharp too. You go on the Deion Sanders, like look good, feel good, play good, get paid good. Isn't that how it goes?
When you're doing these type of things, I believe you always have to be sharp. And if I done it the first time, I'm going to have to do it every time. I can't just do it once
can't let the fans
and
down.
done. I can't do that stuff.
One thing that's changed since the last time you were here, you're not training in California anymore. You're training a little closer to home. Obviously some family reasons and logistical purposes, but just talk quickly about your new team and the training camp this time around, being that it's a little different than having Manny in your corner.
Yeah, it's going to be much different. You know, I've moved back towards home. I'm training in London now, and I'm training alongside Adam Booth. And you know, I've had a great camp. It's a great stable. There's a lot of top fighters there. Unified World Champion there also. So I'm getting a lot of good work. It's probably the best camp I've had as a professional fighter. And as I said, I know people do say that every time they're going to step in the ring, but I do believe this is the best I've felt, and I'm looking forward to showing that on Saturday.
Right back here, Madison Square Garden.
Back here and in front of just let's say an Irish crowd. You know, there's not going to be no one else really.
Yeah. These guys might argue with you that there might be a couple Puerto Ricans.
Oh well, I
there.
suppose it seems a bit like Puerto Rican Day because there is so many
Right.
Puerto Ricans in the cartoon.
Right. Before I let you go, we do have a surprise for you today. I would like to welcome a special guest and Mick Conlon's newest friend. So if everybody can please help me welcome WWE superstar and the first ever WWE Universal Champion, Finn Balor, to the stage, everybody. So as you can see, Finn has a special gift in his hand that he'd like to give to Mick to show his support to his fellow countrymen. That's pretty big. That is the WWE Universal Championship belt, and I think, those who give shall receive. Mick has a little something for you too there, Finn. Here, hold the belt and hold the glove. So first things first, Finn will take care of business here tomorrow night. He'll be competing in an action-packed WWE Live Road to WrestleMania, which is going down here at the Garden tomorrow night before Conlon takes over on Saturday. Thank you. Thanks for being here. That's pretty cool. Hey, I mean, you might not get that back. We do have some other wrestling fans, like Betupo might not give that back to you. Hold on to that tight. So, perks of a fellow countryman, huh? Good stuff. All right, now we're gonna get to our two title fights here. Before, let's do the co-main event first, then we'll get to the main event. So we're gonna have somebody translate here for you. In our opening bout on ESPN, It will be for the interim WBC World Championship in the light heavyweight division. I'd first like to welcome Mehdi Amar of France. He's going to be taking on Alexander Vozdik, and Mehdi's going to have a translator here helping us out. So I know you've been here to New York before as a tourist, but this will be not only your first time fighting in New York, but your first time fighting in the United States. So how excited are you for the opportunity to debut your skills to a new audience here in the United States and on ESPN?
Sorry, I prefer speaking French because my English is not very well. So I think it's better for everybody.
No problem. Go ahead.
Est-ce que tu es excité de montrer ton set de compétences? Est-ce que c'est la première fois que tu viens ici en tant que boxeur? Tu as déjà été à New York en tant que touriste, mais c'est la première fois en tant que boxeur. Est-ce que tu as hâte de montrer tes compétences au public américain?
Oui, c'est sûr qu'une chance comme ça s'attend toute une
Of
vie.
course, such an opportunity, you wait for it your whole life.
Donc je suis très heureux d'être ici,
So I'm really happy to be here.
de pouvoir évoluer dans
be
la
able to
mecque de la
evolve
boxe
in
et je suis
boxing
très
mecca.
content d'être à New York et de
I'm
pouvoir
so
faire
happy to
face
be here in New
à
York
un
and
adversaire de grande
to be
qualité pour
facing such an
un titre
opponent
aussi prestigieux.
for such a prestigious title.
Yeah, and if it's not, pressure enough coming over to the United States, there's a lot on the line in this fight. There's an interim belt on the line, and it's also a title eliminator. So do you feel like any additional pressure, being that if you win this fight, you'll have a chance to fight for a major world title?
Au vu du titre que tu vas défendre, c'est éliminatoire. Est-ce que ça te met encore plus de pression, le fait de savoir que ça peut être éliminatoire et que si jamais tu gagnes, tu vas devoir le défendre?